Hello. Welcome to your technical interview. I'll be conducting your interview today. Let's start with some theoretical questions. Explain the difference between lists and tuples in Python.
Lists are basically mutable, meaning you can change, add, or remove elements after a list is created. So they are typically used to store a collection of related data that may change during the program execution. Tuples are immutable, meaning you can't change the elements after defining the contents inside the tuple. So they are much more faster, more memory efficient, and hashable.
Great job. You explained mutability and the differences in performance and memory efficiency well. You also touched on use cases for both lists and tuples. Explain the concept of Kubernetes, its architecture and components, and how it manages containerized applications at scale.
I'm not familiar with this topic, so I'd like to skip this question.
Okay, let's skip this question. Explain how Docker differs from traditional VMs, elaborate on the concept of Docker images and containers, and discuss some real-world applications and best practices for Docker.
I would like a hint on this question, please.
Think about how resource utilization and isolation might differ between these two technologies.
Okay, so Docker is basically a platform that uses OS level virtualization to deliver
Can you
software.
explain the differences between Docker and traditional virtual machines? Describe what Docker images and containers are, and talk about some practical uses and recommended practices for using Docker.
Okay, so Docker is basically a platform that uses OS level virtualization to deliver software in packages which are called containers, which is different from traditional virtual machines, which basically shares the host operating system kernel rather than virtualizing a full hardware layer and guest OS. A Docker image is basically acts as a read-only blueprint containing the application code and dependencies, while a Docker container is isolated live instance created from the image. In real world, Docker is essentially for ensuring environment consistency across CI, CD pipelines and microservices. Best practices include using small base images like Alpine to reduce security risk and following the one process, one container rule to maintain modularity and ease of scalability.
Good job. You clearly explained the difference between Docker and traditional VMs, as well as the concepts of Docker images and containers. You also touched on real-world applications and some best practices. Keep up the great work. Thank you for completing the interview. Your responses have been recorded.
Karduan.